Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Naughty Lines, the show where lines are drawn below the belt and sometimes above the belly. Today I've got with me a very special guest, CherryPix.
Hello.
Now, CherryPix has a quite the gathering and following on Twitter. She is a NSFW artist of the purest kind, and she has so graciously agreed to show up on Naughty Lines. So, yeah, let's get this started. First of all, Cherry, again, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, no problem. So, the first question I have for you, if I can be prepared and have my questions ready, would be what got you into art in the first place? Like, what started you on this drive to be where you are now?
Oh, that is a very good question. So, I guess a good place to start is when I was about in second grade, and currently I was obsessed with SpongeBob, like very obsessed with SpongeBob.
Hmm.
And there was this one uh time I was watching TV, and the creator at the time was going over a tutorial on how to draw SpongeBob. So this was like in between commercials, and when I was watching this, I was completely stunned that, oh my gosh, someone's actually drawing SpongeBob. I want to draw SpongeBob. And so I stole like reams of printer paper from our family printer and just went to town. I can't tell you how many drawings of SpongeBob I have just lying around, in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of where it started. And during school, I guess my interest in drawing cartoons evolved into being more interested in anime when my a good childhood friend of mine, she drew a lot, and so I would always be so mesmerized of how she drew, and I'm just like, I want to draw like that. And so again, took a whole bunch of paper from the printer and just would just draw these anime characters like all day and all night, and I guess that's kind of how it started.
Okay. And so literally, SpongeBob is what got you started on this journey. And I know exactly the segment that you're talking about. Like you just watched him draw SpongeBob right there on the paper. Um, it was like right after the show would go off before the boring commercials would happen.
Yep, that's
I remember
correct.
that. I remember seeing that. Okay. So SpongeBob got you to start. So, uh, at what point did so that was traditional art, just pen and
Mhm.
paper. When did you start your journey into the digital world?
That started about, I guess, junior year in high school. My parents had bought me a computer that also doubles as a tablet, and beforehand, I guess I started out like I had a friend of mine who had like a Wacom tablet, and I would just like draw little things on it. I would, not be the best, but I had to think about it as, like playing a video game where you're looking at the screen, not the controller.
Mm-hmm.
So when my parents got me this laptop where I could actually see what I was drawing, it was like it was like an explosion of just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so much fun. And literally, like once I got it, I went to town. like, like they had the drawing, like the generic drawing program that was on the laptop already. Like I would just be just like in an instant just just pumping out things, just drawing stuff like that.
Right. Okay. So started off with the computer that doubled as a laptop, or doubled as a tablet, I meant.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I have a drawing tablet, but I use it for OSU,
Oh,
and
okay.
I used to be into like I used to draw a crap ton, but I stopped whenever I was like a freshman in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I just never saw any improvement in my own skills. Um, I wouldn't mind picking it back up, but with I tried diving headfirst into the digital world with when it comes to art with that drawing tablet. I cannot do it. I get it, like the whole I get your comparison with video games and looking at the screen and not the controller,
Mm-hmm.
but with this it's like at least with me, I can't do that. I have to see what I'm drawing.
Yeah, I feel that like that was my problem because literally like trying to multitask like that same way, it was
Mhm.
so frustrating for me. And so for a while before I got the laptop, I kind of just like stopped doing digital and just went back to doing traditional. And I would scan the traditional art that I did and color it on a computer. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I did.
Uh okay, so with it when it comes to so that was your equipment back then. Uh I think people might I don't know if you've answered this before. I hadn't recalled if you had or not. Uh I think people might be interested. What equipment do you use now? Like what you rocking a fancy Cintiq $3,000 tablet?
Oh gosh. So I did get a new Cintiq recently. It's it's like 16 inches, which is it's nice. I really like it, and I still use my laptop. I am currently in the works of looking for like actually purchasing a PC and
Mhm.
getting a monitor so that I can give my poor laptop a break from just being used as a display monitor and actually be used as a laptop. Oh gosh, like I've had it for a really long time, and I bet it's like, Mom, please, you gotta free me from this. I'm just like,
And
okay.
what is it? So it's the same laptop from way back when, is it?
Yep.
Whew.
From high school.
Okay. And what what programs do you use? Like what do you use to make these amazing pieces of art?
So I started out with Metabang Paint Pro, and then I evolved into using the program I'm currently using, which is Clip Studio, and it's amazing. I like I this is the first program I actually had to like purchase, and I would say it point blank like it was worth every penny. Granted, I did buy it during the discount, so
Mhm.
but it's still great. It's amazing. I love it.
It's and also it's that seems to be the standard for a lot of the artists that I've run into. It seems like that's the standard actually like program to use because I've seen a lot of artists that so far that I've talked to at least
Mhm.
they are using Clip Studio as well. So
Uh,
would you suggest it to a person who is beginning, like who's a beginner in the field of digital art?
I think so. It's definitely a program to have. I think like for me personally, when I was starting out, I was trying to find a program that like was easy to navigate, and that's like why whenever someone asks, well, you know, like what's a good program to start with, I actually suggest people start with Metabang before Clip because it's in my opinion it's I guess it's really user friendly, it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to navigate, and it's free, and it still gives you that like really professional feel. Like it doesn't feel like you're using any other, you know, like any other drawing program that's free. It's like the layout and everything. It's really really nice, and it's easy to navigate.
Okay. All right, awesome. So we got a little taste of what you use, and so anyone out there wondering what kind of, like, if you want to get on the path of digital art, I mean, they're like, granted, don't just buy a Cintiq like out of nowhere. That's a very big investment because if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, those tablets, like the one that you have, like, um is it a Cintiq companion or
It is.
yeah.
um, golly. So, I it's not it like it's just the display tablet, so it's not like the the high end ones, like how they have like the buttons on the sides
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Like it's just it's I guess it's like a standard display monitor. Um but I think like working your way up is the best approach for
Oh,
something like
definitely.
this.
Cuz like you don't want to start with a Cintiq HD13 or something like that. Those are thousands
Yeah,
of dollars, and that like you really that's an investment on its own.
almost definitely.
All right. So next question for you would be, so we asked, so when did you start doing what you do? So now the question is, why do you do what you do?
I just I and that's another really good question. I don't know. I don't think I've ever asked myself that either. I think it was always just like so much fun. Like doing art. Like it's such a very interesting way to express yourself, and I know like that's a term that's that's hounded like repeatedly, but it's true. Like art is just one of those really unique ways to express yourself in ways that you just can't, like, I guess, speak or do anything else. Like
Mhm.
it's yeah, it's like I'm probably gonna repeat myself a lot, but yeah, it's definitely a very amazing way to express yourself. Yeah.
Is it what is it? Is it more like so it's kind of like a song without words, like you don't need to sing, you can listen, that kind of
Exactly.
thing, or
Yeah.
you can say a million words without speaking at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like just growing up, like I would go to museums a lot as a kid, and it would always just fascinate me because it's almost like you can look into the mind of the artist, like through, like, even through their paint strokes, like you could just see that emotion and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And it was always really interesting to me.
So you okay, so that right there. So I did ask about where you started, when you started digital.
Mhm.
Were you ever like heavy into the painting aspect of art? Like were you a heavy painter at any point?
I was about, I guess, my freshman year of college. I would know that I was doing some courses in painting, and during that time, I did like take a lot of interest in it. In Even now, like anytime I'm given the opportunity, I would love to paint. I haven't done it very much in a very long in a while, but it's definitely something that's always interested me, and always like it always seemed like really fun to do.
Okay. All right. So we've covered the when did you start, the why are you doing this. So now okay, so now we're going to be starting the, and as you know, the show's called Naughty Lines, so I got to talk about it at some point. Uh when did the whole NSFW aspect of your art career start, and like what got it started?
Well, that uh, it's a really fun story. So like a really long time ago, I was about 10 or 11. My parents got me a manga book, and mind you, This was my first ever manga that I have ever owned,
Mm-hmm.
and it has a pretty girl on it, and a kimono and everything. And so I'm like, wow, this is really nice. But on the front of it, it says parental advisory, explicit content. Now, I don't know if my parents saw this thing on the book, but just got it for me anyway. But I'm flipping through one day, and it's like, oh my god, I love the story, I love the characters, and then this woman is in a shower, and you just see her bottom, and I'm like, okay, bottoms, no big deal. But then next page turns over, you see a full frontal of her business, of her chest business, her bob, yeah, her tiggle bitties, I'll
Her
say,
her Christmas ornaments.
her Christmas ornaments in full display, and I'm just like, holy mackerel! I close the book, but then open it up again. I'm like, huh, because like this was during my like really intense anime phase, and I didn't know that they did that in anime, so it always interests me. Now fast forwarding to like college, um I guess like that interest was always there, but I never really got to draw it very much until I got into college, and I got to explore a little bit with sketches and whatnot. And that's when I started following other artists online who did, who did not safe for work art, and it just be like, gosh, that is amazing. And again, I'm just like, I want to try that. And so I tried it, and I'm like, well, now this is just fun. I don't want to stop. And so I guess that's kind of how it started with that freaking book that my parents bought. So, yeah,
Okay,
it's
and like as far as it goes with that, like, cuz it's brought you a long way.
mhm,
Um like I like okay. So there's a lot of people who think I actually wanted to ask you. This is a question I ask all my guests just because I want to get their different opinions on this.
mhm.
Um what is your opinion on the fact of or the stigma perhaps of the fact that people think when it comes to NSFW artists, there is a growing stigma that says NSFW artists are always horny. They're just horny mongrels drawing horny things because they're horny. And they can't draw anything if they're not horny. And so, what do you say to that stigma? What is your opinion or view or any kind of message you want to send to people who actually believe that?
Sorry, my dog barking in the background.
Oh, no, it's
Um,
okay.
so I guess in my response, I'd say that to me, not safe for work art is it's no different than real life, you know stuff,
Mhm.
those bits and pieces.
Yeah, I know.
And and basically, I mean, if you really think about it, like drawing nude, like there there's not usually any, I guess, like in my opinion, I'm so sorry for my dog. In my opinion, it's just drawing like a character in like limited amount of dress. Like that's something that's been around in our history for like as humans for like centuries. Like you know we have the birth of Venus, we have like different pieces throughout our history, and they show nude people, like Statue of David. Like if that's art, it's not safe for work art because it's a nude person.
Mhm.
And like there are pieces where there are like depictings, the dew, in some of them, and it's art. Like it's like that's how we were made. I guess it's kind of like the same sense of like someone judges you for watching like, you know, prawn. I'll say prawn. But it's kind of like the same argument when someone's judging you for watching prawn. It's like that's how you were made. just someone just, want to show it. And I guess like when it comes to like being, horny and drawing not safe for work art, for me personally, I feel as though it's more difficult to draw, when you're, dealing with those other feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just being creative and like from like not safe for work art, it's like it's like an outlet to be as creative as you want with certain things. Like you could draw an alien having, good times with a person and stuff like that. Like, I guess like in a nutshell, it's like it's not necessarily a means of being degenerate, it's just being creative, like really creative. Also, in my opinion, it's a fun way to study anatomy too, in different poses, stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely because I've had a lot of friends uh who are artists as well, and they practice anatomy by doing things like that, like drawing NSFW content. It's just their way of studying anatomy for art. So I can see
Right.
that completely.
Yeah.
Uh okay. So when like whilst starting the NSFW trend with your Twitter, because if I'm not mistaken, and I may be wrong to assume this, but as far as it goes with your Twitter right now, uh, like your Twitter page is mainly NSFW content.
Yes.
So, um, would you? Because I know that there's a lot of artists out there that do want this to happen. Do you want people to know you only for your NSFW content, or do you want to like diverge into a safer workspace at some point in the future, or have you done so already and I just don't know?
Well, I actually do have like I do have a safe work page that I was, building, for years. And I guess as of right now, I guess I've been on the safe work end for a really long time, and I guess I really just I guess I want to move over to being more adult oriented.
Mhm.
Um, that's I mean, I don't know. It's just like, and that's I guess that's a question I'm still trying to figure out myself. But I think that like I definitely want to be a bit more adult when it comes to the route, you know, like long
Right.
term.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so right now you're just wanting to be more adult oriented, and that's completely fine. That's more than fine. It's just I know that there are people out there who don't want to only be known for the titties that they draw, uh and but either way is fine. Like,
Mhm.
you do you, it's your personal preference.
Right.
Uh okay. So this question I thought up specifically for this interview because it happened today to my last guest who I recorded a episode with.
Hmm.
Just today they got a DM from a person saying, like, I noticed that this is your NSFW account, and the person was a minor.
Oh boy.
What is your view on minors sneaking into your little minefield of titties and schlong?
To be honest, I like it's something that it happens like as much as we, drive in the point that we don't want minors on our page, it's gonna happen. And I guess it's like the best part is to catch it as soon as possible and just like say, hey, listen, because I've had this happen a lot.
Mhm.
Like someone will say, "Oh my gosh," like they'll follow me, but I like every time that happens, I always go into their bio and check their age if they have it displayed, and if they're underage, I'm always sure to send a message like, "Hey, listen, I saw you follow me and I appreciate the follow, but could you unfollow me because you're underage and the page isn't for minors?" And they'd be like, "Okay, that's fine." So like the encounters where that's happened, I guess
Mm-hmm.
like they've gone smoothly, and like and then I'll get, then there'll be times where like they'll sneak in, I not notice, I find out, and I just have to like block them from my page.
You have
Um,
to Thanos snap them.
Got to Thanos snap them. But yeah, I mean, it's insanely frustrating. And at the same time, it happens. Like, we can only do so much. But I think that it's very important that if you are on Twitter and you are underage, please, for the safety of you and for the safety of the content creator, don't interact or don't follow, period. Okay? Don't follow, period. Like, I mean, I'm not your parent, but like still, don't do it because it's not very cash money for anybody involved in the long run. To
It's
say,
not really cash money. Yeah, and yeah, it's true because also if any of you watching, if you are underage, what are you doing here? Like, but either way, it is true. And if you're wondering, like, what do you mean it's dangerous to the content creator? If the wrong kind of message is sent across to the wrong person, or at least, or I think to the right person in a bad situation like that, it can be heavy fire. It can be heavy fire to a artist like Cherry. Like someone could make the allegation, like an allegation against her about a minor being or following her, and it could end up being under heavy fire, and she
yeah,
could get a lot of flack and possibly canceled.
yeah,
Like
yeah. And
cancel is
this
not
year,
good.
yeah, and this year, people have just been on a crazy, crazy ride. So I mean, tensions are very high right now. So you know,
Right.
people are
And
trigger happy with that cancel button these days.
exactly, and that goes to my next question. I'm on a roll.
You
Okay.
on a roll.
Okay, so next question is, what is your opinion on cancel culture, and when do you think is an appropriate time for cancel culture to be like to rear its ugly head? Like, do you think there's ever a good time for cancel culture?
Uh, this is you are asking the right questions because I have to like go in myself and think, okay. But in my opinion, I have never been a fan of cancel culture. I feel as though it does more harm than good in most scenarios.
Mhm.
And I feel as though is if there are allegations or anything of the sort being, put out against an individual, I say, especially if they're serious, because a lot of them these days have been serious, I feel as though don't go on Twitter about it, report it to the authorities, and handle it in that manner instead of, being public with it. But again, it's tricky because, like, if it's someone, it's like, especially a celebrity, it's hard for you to, like, I guess, kind of like press charges because it can be very fickle. So when it comes to celebrities, I'm not like, I still don't like it. I just think that it's difficult because, like, in some cases it's easier in some scenarios, and other times it's not. So I guess like that publicity is important in those cases if the person turned out to be guilty. But I feel as though if something's happened, I guess to go through the legal processes first, and if the person is proven guilty, then you have to be like, okay, this person is bad. I think that's the only time I feel as though it's necessary. But if you're saying it and like just like saying it and then the person is canceled and then it turns out that, oh, turns out they didn't do it, like the damage is already done. Like there are a lot of like instances where people have been canceled, been proven that they haven't done the thing, and yet they're still kind of feeling like the burn of it. or like
Mhm.
the like still that backlash. And and I think also like cancel culture also bring like it also gives those who I guess come forward who are genuine like a bad name, because then like their credibility is also tarnished in a way, because they think that, oh, they're saying this and they obviously want to cancel, and that's, not the case. Like it's it's a touchy subject.
Mhm.
But I in all serious though, I feel as though like the right steps have to be taken before any sort of accountability can be made, to anyone. And if like what happened, turned out to not be the case, I feel as though the person who initiated it needs to take responsibility for it. You know,
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's especially like these past years, it's just been so like really hyper. I guess is the best word to put it, and it's really sad when it happens, period, because like it just causes so much drama, and it's like it's exhausting. Like, like it's just it's never it's not fun for anybody. So
Right.
yeah, it's
Because for instance, there's a lot of scenarios, and I'm not gonna name names, because I don't want anyone coming after me with like a triad of lawyers behind them.
right.
Um, there have been cases where like content creators, influencers, anything like that on the internet. There's been situations where some fan steps up, and just because the fan like didn't get some kind of like appreciation from the person they're admiring,
Hmm.
uh or like any kind of reciprocation for like, oh, I donated this much, or I joined your YouTube, so I'm paying you $5 a month to talk to me, that kind of thing. There
Hmm.
are people who will come forward with false accusations just to
Yeah,
cancel them because they got angry, and that's never ever a good thing.
it's
And
not.
it's kind of like how there's and but yeah, it's true. Like there are some situations where the canceling is necessary because the person
Hmm.
who's being canceled had done a horrible thing, and
Right.
they need to face the consequences. Now, do I condone harassing them? Of course not. No,
Right.
you should never harass anyone for any reason. You should report them to the proper authority and have them face the consequences in the right way, not stalk them, throw a rock at their window, shoot at their house. And if any of you
Right.
know who I'm talking about with that one, then you would know uh, Dr. Disrespect, when the whole thing about his wife came about. People found his house and started shooting at it with actual guns.
Yeah, like cancel culture, it's dangerous. Like without a doubt, it is extremely dangerous, because especially when other people are involved that are part of the accused or the accuser, like they get harassed, and it's all bets are off from there, because some of these people, they feel very extremely, and like you said, like people are out here arming themselves with actual weapons and wanting to harm the person whether or not they did it.
Mhm.
And it just causes way more problems, and it does a lot more harm than good.
Exactly. Like if you're just upset at someone, like unfollow them. Don't give
Hmm.
them any support. If you're really that angry, it oh well, but
Right.
don't go to such lengths to actually ruin their life.
Yeah.
Uh so that's our take on cancel culture. Um so the next question for you would be, if it weren't for art, what would you be doing if you either didn't pursue art, or if you had to pursue a different career for any reason? Like, what would it be besides art?
So I think that if I weren't pursuing art, Um, I would probably be doing more of like performing arts. When I was a kid, and I guess like I had already finished elementary school and I was applying to middle schools at the time, I was I was like big on singing. Like I would sing a lot and
Are you a theater
I
brat?
I know that's what I was yeah.
Yeah, me
Ah,
too. I can smell you a mile
oh
away.
yeah, like I would oh my gosh, it's insane. Like so when I was done with elementary school looking for middle schools, I tried out for actually I think I was actually in middle school and looking for high schools at the time, but um I was I was gonna go to like these magnet schools or we have this this one it's a school of the arts basically,
Hmm.
and I was gonna go there. I'm remembering now it was definitely looking for high schools, not middle schools. So I was doing that. I was looking at a place called Carver that does like art and technology, and I auditioned like I did auditions, and during middle school I was in all three of our productions. I was in Alice in Wonderland, High School Musical.
Oh.
I was the person that wanted to play the cello, and
Hmm.
then by eighth grade I was Auntie M in The Wiz. That was
Ooh.
very fun. And then come high school, I didn't get to I guess I didn't really get to do any musical theater. We had
Hmm.
talent shows and stuff like that. I would do those, but real like off tangent really quick. I when I was in I guess I was like in sixth grade or something. I did audition for America's Got Talent at the time. I really thought I was well, my parents thought I was it, you know, like they thought that oh my gosh, she's gonna be on America's Got Talent,
Hmm.
and that didn't go very far. Like I you know I sang in front of some people and they're like, oh okay, you can, we'll talk to you later, and never, you know, never came back to me, which is fine. And then during high school, my parents tried again. They're like, you should do the voice, and I'm just like, oh dear. Um, so I tried out for that, and again, I was like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine, because I wanted to do art anyway. But yeah, I guess long story short, if I weren't doing art, I would be a theater brat. I still am. I
Oh.
love Hamilton and Heathers. I have so many musicals saved on my phone. I I am
Uh,
theater trash.
I'm going to admit I had a feeling you were a theater brat just by the way you were talking. Uh, I could smell you a mile away.
Oh
I've been a theater
gosh.
brat since high school, or no, since
Listen,
the end of middle school actually.
see, you can my mom is to blame for that. She put the musical theater drug in my veins. Like she was in all the productions and like she loves musicals and she made me fall in love with musicals. So you can thank my mom for that one.
For me, going through from third grade up until the end of middle school, I was mostly in choir. I I love singing. I've been singing since I was like 4,
Hmm.
and um, whenever I got to 8th grade, uh, there was a production of a very small play, like a skit play called Check Please,
Ooh.
and it was literally just a bunch of failed blind dates kind of thing. And
Huh.
my choir, so the drama teacher was looking for a student from the choir department, and because her and the choir director were, or the choir teacher was very like friendly to each other, and he came to me and asked, "Hey, do you want to be in a play?" I'm like, "Sure." Never done one
Oh.
before. I'd never been in a play before, but I'll do it. And I had to
Mhm.
memorize. And what I didn't know is that I had to memorize 2 pages of lines
Oh.
in 24 hours.
Jeez.
And so I had to do that. I had like studied the lines all night. I rehearsed with my mom until like 4 a.m. and the show wasn't until like 6 p.m.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
like, wow, I need to do this, I need to do this. And I finally did it, and turns out the part that they had me as was a incredibly paranoid guy who had phobias uh out the wazoo. And what was it? My favorite part of that one was trying to. There was a part in it where my character's date was
Mhm.
trying to order a large named order, and I
Oh.
and I said, "Please stop." She's like, "Why?" And I said, "I have hippopotamonstrosophobia." And they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "The fear of long words." And it was great. I loved it. I loved it so much. And after that, I was in all of my high school's productions. There was, I think, 4 of them, so once a year. I was a I was in the barbershop quartet of Music Man. I
Oh.
was Beast in Beauty and the Beast.
Wow.
I was the gracious host or suspicious host in Murder in the Knife Room. Uh, I was Shrek in Shrek the musical.
Dude, you're killing it.
And what did I do for my senior year? Because there was 2 plays. Uh, what was it? Was so long ago. We did a stage production of Aladdin, and I was Genie.
Dude, that's freaking insane. You're getting all these big parts. Wow.
I did. I am a theater brat through and through, and I tried my best. I wanted to be the best I could be, and that's my advice to everyone out there. If you have a dream that you want to chase, like fucking do it. Just do it.
Go for it.
I'm a Shia LaBeouf it. Just do it.
Do it. And I'm a Palpatine.
It's
Do
just
it.
yeah, and it's just like this show. It's just like this show right here. I want this to go places, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to uh, get this show out there and have people see the people that I interview. Because this show is all about seeing the person behind the pen, and like I want this show to be able to help people who I interview, and as well maybe it'll help me grow into more of an influencer and hopefully realize my dream of having a career in this kind of field. Because right now I work at a game store and I sell video games and movies to people.
Still pretty dope.
Eh, when you got old people walking in asking how much is Fortnite, it's kind of gets there.
That's
Uh,
understandable.
what else? What else do I have to ask you? It is. Gosh, I can't even think of any. Where's my list? Because I've been going like through my mind. I usually have I usually have mind notes thinking like this is what I'm gonna ask this specific person because I always like take notes on whoever I'm interviewing. Uh,
Okay.
so uh, okay. So what would you say is the most frustrating or has been the most frustrating moment of your art career since you started? Like were there any situations where it was just so frustrating and anger inducing like a person who made it to where you had to back out on a commission, that kind of thing?
Well, I think there's one instance of that. There was this person. who wanted a commission for their friend, um, and they put in and I quote, their friend was a MILF, and they wanted a piece. They sent me pictures of this person and said, "Yeah, this is for a friend of mine. Can you draw it for me? Like draw this picture, but like cartoonify it."
Mm-hmm.
And I understood that the person wasn't like really in on I don't know if they were a big follower of the art community. So I'm like, okay, I get it. Um, and so they were like, "Yeah, can you draw this for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Let me give you my prices and whatnot." And so I, sent them the sketch and everything, and they're like, "Oh, dude, this looks great. Yeah, let me show it to my friend, see if she likes it." And then I'm like, "Okay." They're like, "Yeah, it looks amazing. We love it. You can continue." I'm like, "Okay, great. I'm gonna continue." And so I'm gonna be honest with you, like the piece itself, I really enjoyed doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but I think one of the reasons why was because like her bottom was like I guess the main focus. And so I was able to draw her bottom as big as I could because they emphasized the bottom is big, make the bottom big. And so I drew it as big as I could. Oh my gosh. And
So the
so
booty was large.
it was very large. She had a very large caboose. And so I sent like it was finished, it was done, and I sent it over, and they were like, the person was like, "Oh wow, this is great, I love it. Let me send it to my friend and see how she thinks." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And so he comes back to me and says, "Listen, few notes. Could you make there?" So this was completely understandable. One of the hands was a bit smaller than the other. And I'm like, "Okay, I can fix that." But then the person was like, "Also, can you make her bottom bigger, please?" And I'm just like, I, I, I
Like I did.
can't. I can't. And it's hard because, like, how it's drawn, it's attached to, like, a really, like, there was this, I had to do a corset too. And, like, I put, like, a lot of detail in the corset. It was really nice. But, like, I'm like, I can't make it bigger. And then they were like, well, can you do it again then? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, what?
Oof.
Huh? They're like, yeah, I mean, can you do it again? I'm like,
No.
hypothetically speaking, if I were to do it again, which I'm not, you'd have to pay me again, full price and everything, because it's a whole new commission. They're like, well, I think it's only they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, can you like lower your price then?" And I'm just like,
Oh my
I'm not
god.
doing that." And he was like, "Well, as a dissatisfied customer, I assumed that you would, make some changes for me or whatnot." And I'm just like, I'm so sorry.
It's not
You
at
said
all
you
how
liked
capitalism
it."
works.
Yeah, that's not how it works. And then they started, and then when I was like, "No, I cannot do it," they were like, "Well, it sucks because this is pretty low quality. You stink. They didn't really say I stunk, but I'll
Uh.
just like, yeah, they were just not happy. And then they blocked me. And then I'm just like, huh?
So what
I
just
mean,
happened?
what just exactly? I was just like, what? And I'm like, I'm mad, but okay. And so I continue on with my day. And then they unblock me and say, "Hey, listen, I'm really sorry for my behavior. That was really unprofessional of me. Can I just get a refund?" And I'm just like, no, no, bud, no,
No.
no, no, man. And like, that had to have been like the most frustrating like exchange with a commissioner. And I guess this is like a second part to your original question. The other thing that I like, ultimate demise when it comes to not safe for work art, I cannot draw feet. Like, I can't. Like, I try, I try, and like sometimes I'll get those rare instances where I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's good. Not all the time though. I am not good at drawing feet, and also I'm starting to draw male characters a bit more, and I
Mhm.
still am struggling a little bit because it's just like, geez Louise. And like, again, off like quick tangent. Gosh, I don't know what's going on, but like I've encountered a lot of like anime boys in the past weeks, and I cannot stop simping for these fictional characters. Like I feel like I'm in middle school again. I want to draw sauce. I want to draw the sauce, but I can't because I can't draw guys. And whenever I try to look at references, I get embarrassed and I just don't draw them at all. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. So, yes, drawing dudes, feet, and that one instance with the commissioner, those have to be the bigger demises of my art career. Yeah.
So a person asks you if you can redo an entire commission and do it for a cheaper price, and then you just can't draw feet.
I can't draw feet. Like it mocks me. Every time I see other artists like they just draw their feet so amazingly. And I'm just like, how do you do it? How do you do it like with little effort? And those are the artists I look up to the most because they can draw feet so well. And I always feel weird looking up feet on my like on Google, and like someone will look over and say, "What you doing?" Like my mom will come in like, "Hey, what you doing?" She sees me scrolling through feet, and then she closes the door again. I'm just like, "It's for reference. I promise. I don't have one of. I'm not into feet. I'm not judging people who are into feet. That's fine. Like you do you. But I mean, I just want to draw feet. You know.
I'm
That's like
not judging people who are into feet. Remember, if you're into feet out there, if you're into feet, we're not judging. We're
we're
judging a
not
little,
judging.
but we're not judging.
Still accept you. You're
Yeah.
fine, okay? There's worse things to be into. You're feet people, me,
Feet
feet,
people!
you, you people who are into feet, you be into feet to your heart's content. You do that, man. You're fine. You're fine.
Oh
I just
my
wish I could draw feet.
god. Oh my god. That's great. That is great. I don't know. It's just as far as it goes with what is it? As far as it goes with me, like man, wait, with me, I'm not an artist. I was trying to say like okay, you can't draw feet, but I know you're going to do it eventually. I know you're going to succeed at it. And
Hopefully.
oh man, there was at one point where way back like I'd want to say like a year or two ago,
Mm-hmm.
I had a very frustrating experience. Because back then, whenever I first got onto Discord, I started learning a lot about it. Uh, and this was like 4 years ago, something like that. And I was building people. I was like putting myself out there, saying, "Hey, I'll build you a Discord server. If you don't have the time, I'll build it for you. Just like, make me a mod or something, and I'll help you build it and moderate it, all that kind of stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And there was a person who told me, "Hey, can you build this server for me?" They didn't tell me what it was for because
Oh boy.
I didn't really ask many questions. And so whenever that did happen, like I was just like, all right, I'm done. I did the layout that you wanted me to. I really should have seen the signs because after I got done and he made me admin, not mod. He made me an admin, and I was looking at all the stuff he was like putting up, and next thing I know, I see a picture that is very illegal. And
Oh
I'm
no.
like, what is this? Like, what are you posting? You can't post this. Like, what? This is what this server was made for. I'm like, what's it made for? And I don't know if I can say the word, but I'm just gonna say what it is. Underage Japanese anime girls
Oh
in
no.
sexual situations, and I
Oh.
immediately deleted the server
Oh,
and told him to not contact me again.
oh
And
gosh.
so he lost all that work, or I lost all that work. He lost the whole server, and I reported him, and I think he got booted off of Discord.
Wow.
Like that was it was frustrating because I had worked like 3 days on that server because I was also
Hmm.
working a full-time job,
Right.
and it was just like, man, I spent so much fucking time on that, and all of a sudden turns out he's a pedophilic pervert. Ugh,
Oof.
it was bad. Uh, okay, so we're just about out of time, but
Mhm.
I just have one more question for you before we leave.
Okay.
Uh, when it comes to the community that you are in, that being the NSFW community, on Twitter, like the art community, NSFW community, fusion of both, what are your views on the community as a whole? And if you were to change anything about it, whether it be like how things are handled or like what kind of things happen, if you were to change anything about it, what would you change if there would be anything?
It's a good question. I think the only thing that I would change, I guess, might seem a bit unrealistic, but I guess to make everyone a bit more accepting of the other, because I know, like as you mentioned, like in earlier time, that there's like this crazy stigma, around not safe for work artists,
Mhm.
and that stigma does not. It doesn't only, transpire in like the real world, but it also transpires within the art community sometimes. And yeah, like there will be, some instances where like safe for work artists will kind of like throw shade at not safe for work artists, like they only see them as degenerates and stuff like that. But I feel as though it would be really nice if we as a community of artists, I guess, kind of embraced each other, like not pretend that one is like that, like just like pretend like, sorry, jumbling on my words, but
It's
like
okay.
I guess I'd rather have that than like one community, um, I guess, pretend that another doesn't exist or that it's the bad one in quotations. Um, because at the end of the day, we're all artists, and the world is already kind of just like nuts. And I've always believed in like, you know, I've always believed in like unity and like just coming together, as a whole. Like, because like I see this a lot in artists. Like we're supposed to encourage each other and help each other grow. And so instead of like um, dismissing or minimalizing one community, I think we should just come together and say, hey, we have our talents, you guys have our talents. Let's just, I guess, to say again, come together. Let's be friends and supportive of one another. And I've seen it. I have friends who do safer work art and who accept me for being a not safer work artist, and like vice versa. Like it's not impossible. It's tricky, and it's I think we're a long road to get to that point. But yeah, I think that'd be like the one big thing that we do.
Come together
Yes,
right
say it
now.
now.
Uh, all right. Well, I see that we are out of time. Uh, I do like truly want to thank you. It was an honor having you on the show.
Oh, it was an honor for having me. I really appreciate it.
And before we go, would there be anything that you would want to uh, like say and or plug before we end the video here?
I think the only final thing I want to say is if you're an artist out there, it doesn't matter, safe for work, not safe for work art. I like terrible at this, but keep going, like you may be struggling and like there are obstacles in the way, but I just say you just gotta keep moving forward. Yeah, keep on going, okay? Like it's yeah, I'm bad at this, but yeah, like yeah, just you can do it, okay? You can do it. I believe in you.
You can
Yeah.
do it.
You can do it. Like I believe in you. And I love you all.
Okay. And anything you might want to plug at like any social media at all, like besides your Twitter and such?
Uh, hmm. Subscribe to my OnlyFans. I guess if you want those full resolution pictures and process sketches, that's really the only thing I'm offering up there right now. But yeah, if you interested in that, you go check it out if you want. Check it out.
And what are they checking out?
OnlyFans.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh God, why? you know, oh,
It'll be in the description. Uh,
okay.
so yeah, everybody out there, be sure to check Cherry out. Check out her Twitter. She's most active there. It is awesome over there. Great art. You will not be upset that you went there. Check out her Patreon if you want to support her, even though Patreon's kind of being on a slippery slope lately.
Mm.
And then, as she so quietly put it, check out her OnlyFans
God damn.
in the
Yeah.
for full resolution pictures and sketches and such. Be sure to check that out. All the links to her social media will be in the description below. But anyway, yeah, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace out.
Take care.